Good evening and welcome. In case you're just tuning in, it is unfortunately yet another night when we are seeing intense air defense activity as a result of Pakistani drones coming into Indian airspace. It's taking place in multiple locations, Jammu, in the Rajouri area, in Amritsar as well, in Pokhran, in Jaisalmer. These are just a couple of areas. My colleague Deepthi with us as we run you through all of these developments on what unfortunately is another tense night for India.
Oh, absolutely. And we also, Vishnu, must tell our viewers that we are looking at all important meetings that have continued to happen. In fact, initial reports that are coming in is also that the Prime Minister possibly has had a word with the External Affairs Minister. We've seen India absolutely making it very, very clear that we are not the aggressor. But in case Pakistan continues unabated like this and it continues to target our civilians, we will be forced to retaliate. In fact, there has been a significant briefing by the MEA, Vishnu, as you know. We would also get our viewers details of in just a moment. But right now on our screens are images right now that are coming in from Jaisalmer. And again, what we see is like what Vishnu said, a second night of those attempts by Pakistan that continue. And these are images, I think, of the earlier meeting. Vishnu, you'd like to talk about this, where we'd seen the Prime Minister chairing that
yes,
meeting.
This was an important meeting where the Prime Minister met the National Security Advisor, the three armed forces chiefs, I think, who were present over there to get an idea, the National Security Advisor, of what exactly the situation was. This was a couple of hours back, but since then we've seen a massive escalation of the situation in so many parts right now, and we're going to list all of those areas where this has actually taken place. But what's taking place now is intense air defense activity, by which we mean tracer bullets are being fired. There are various systems in play. What the red streaks that you see on the left-hand side of your screen are tracer bullets taking place. The explosions may or may not imply that drones are being taken down, but tracer bullets, tracer rounds also do have that explosive element in them. In certain cases, missiles would perhaps be fired as well. But the fact that we've got confirmations of explosions in the skies around Amritsar, a heavily populated area, is a cause of major concern. Remember, as much as 400 drones, between 300 and 400 drones from the Siachen Glacier right down to Sir Creek in Gujarat had been detected in our airspace. Many of those were taken down, but this is yet another night when this is taking place.
Oh yes, and Vishnu, we are looking almost at the same sectors, the same sectors that Pakistan is targeting again. Unprovoked ceasefire violation is something that is abnormal when it comes to areas, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, along the LOC, that continues to be lit up. But Vishnu, the fact that this is continuing for the second straight day, what does this tell of what Pakistan wants to do? There is clearly an escalation written all over
Well, you
this.
use the word ceasefire violation. The fact is that Pakistan has declared the ceasefire, they've declared the line of control. They've declared the ceasefire to be dead because they are holding all agreements between India and Pakistan in abeyance or in suspension. This being the case, there is no ceasefire anymore, and this is testament to that. Now, as we talk, Deepthi, about what's happening over the skies of all of these areas, there is artillery shelling, which is also broken out in some areas, and we will reflect on that in a little while from now. Let's go across to Gurpreet Chinna, who joins us right now. Gurpreet, where are you right now? And can you give us an idea of what you're seeing and what you're hearing?
Well, we are reporting from Firozpur city, and we have been covering this Firozpur border for the last 2-3 days. We have seen today huge movement of drones here in Firozpur city, also in the border area also, because we have a very important military station here. So somewhere down the lane, it seems that again they were trying to target that important places here in Firozpur. We have seen multiple sirens were being used by the local administration to make aware of the situation on the ground, and we have seen multiple mock drills had already been conducted. What we have learned, there were multiple drone movements which was being observed and reported from the various locations of this border area. Not only here, we have seen at about 8 p.m. The local administration, they have got some information. There is the movement of 2-3 drones across the border, and immediately they had imposed blackout all over the city. Immediately after after that 8 p.m. we have seen 8:30, huge number of the moments had been seen in the sky, and the local administration, the local police, they started conducting patrolling at a various location, and those people who were moving in the cars, they are being advised by the local police not to use the headlights at that time. But as of now, we have seen from 8 p.m. onwards, multiple moments have been seen here, and the local administration, they are already in touch with the defense forces also, and we have seen very professional that the coordination which is going on, and we have seen even yesterday, we have seen the multiple drone movement in Jalandhar. That type of a moment had been seen today in Firozpur also, but somewhere down the lane, it seems the way they were sending these drone moments here, we have a very strong integrated defense system, and it seems that all these drones or all these objects which has been sent from across the border, they are being neutralized. As of now, what we have seen a few minutes back, there was another siren which was being given by the local administration so that the people should not use light, and they have also got information from the various villages of this Firozpur that some people are not complying this blackout properly, and that was one of the reasons why they have already shut down the electricity in all over area. Not only here, we have seen the same blackout has been imposed in Amritsar, Hoshiarpur, and various locations of Punjab, so that they will be able to save the lives, and they will be able to combat and grapple with the situation.
Yes, and we must tell people that they must not panic, because that is very important right now. Gurpreet, why don't you stay with us? We'll also introduce Ghazali, who's been at the forefront of a lot of our coverage. Ghazali, where about you at this point in time? What is it that you can add to what we know?
See, right now I'm in Rajouri. We just returned from Poonch, and just an hour ago, the entire cross-border shelling is started from Bhuj. The moment we entered into Rajouri, we could see the drone movement in the air here, and we are very close to the line of control. Continuous explosion, sounds of explosion, shelling is being heard of from here. But as of now, for the last 15 minutes, it's all quiet here. It's complete blackout in the city, not just in Rajouri, but in Poonch and in the entire Jammu division. Loud explosions have been heard from Jammu, from Rajouri itself, from Poonch. As of now, for the last 15-20 minutes, there has been no sounds of, we have not heard any sound of explosion, but we could see the drones getting neutralized. We could see it up in the sky here. And right now, there is complete silence, but people have been asked to stay indoors. The entire city of Rajouri as well as Poonch is in dark, is in blackout right now. Explosions are being heard from different distant locations in different districts, is what we are picking up from our sources in other districts, from Poonch and from other areas in Rajouri as well.
Well, there's a message from Omar Abdullah, the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. I think it's important. It's a message for people in Jammu, where he said, "It's my earnest appeal to everyone in and around Jammu, please stay off the streets, stay at home, or at the nearest place you can comfortably stay for the next few hours. Ignore rumors, don't spread unsubstantiated or unverified stories, and we will get through this together." So that's an important message. But again, it is unfortunate what we are seeing, and what you see on your screen now in Jaisalmer, the red sort of streaks that you see are usually tracer bullets. They could be interspersed with surface-to-air missiles being fired. It's all being used by India's armed forces, whether there is air defense artillery like the sort that you see over here, or it could be various types of surface-to-air missiles, whether it's the Barak surface-to-air missile or the Samar surface-to-air missile system, the Spider surface-to-air missile system. These are all, or the Pechora, these are all systems that the Indian Air Force operates. We've got a large deployment of surface-to-air missile systems which are designed to take this out. But it needs to be mentioned, and a couple of important points over here. According to the Defense Ministry, and in their briefing earlier on in the day, the strikes, or I should mention, the drone incursions which have taken place last night were primarily to get a sense of the location potentially of Indian air defenses, the reaction of Indian air defenses, and that is what the primary goal was. There was one attack which took place in Bhatinda with an armed unmanned aerial vehicle. What we don't know at this juncture is whether that is what we are seeing today is an extension of that strategy to probe Indian defenses, or whether these drones are carrying warheads with them, in which case there is a real possibility of damage. So that's something that we need to keep a close eye on. Air Chief Marshal Rakesh Kumar Bhadoria with us, the former Chief of Air Staff. Air Chief Marshal, thank you, sir. It is, another night of tension for all of us. Amritsar, for example, a very heavily populated area. Jammu, a very heavily populated area. Your initial thoughts on what's taking place now. How do you assess these drone incursions?
Yeah, what's taking place now is, I think today evening's brief, it was made quite clear that is the assessment given by the defense services in the brief. And I think is absolutely correct in terms of what they are doing, sending in these low-tech drones, largely surveillance, many of them armed, and with the intent of, getting our AD systems to open up so that they can pick up intelligence. And also location. So this is the game plan. And the very fact that our defense services decided to expressly state this in the briefing is to indicate to them that we know what's happening. What we have to worry about is, or be prepared, it's not a worry at all, be prepared for, is that while they continue to do this kind of activity, at some time or the other, this will be combined with a substantial number of armed drones which are of higher caliber, and also standoff weapons or cruise missiles. I suspect that's the kind of attack they would be looking for. This is our services, I'm sure, are prepared for that and would defend that. And thereafter, depending on what damage or what is the nature of attack, there would be a strong response. And I don't see Pakistan, de-escalating. They're continuing to escalate slowly. And should they do this kind of attack, this will be a big mistake from their part.
I think there are a lot of important points, sir, that you do make. Now, what makes you believe that Pakistan will continue to escalate? Is Pakistan today even in a position to take on the might of the Indian forces, our prowess, considering what we have seen over the last few hours?
Yeah, that is in case they behave rationally, but they are not. They've been irrational in their approach in terms of, after the terrorists were struck and the government had made it very clear that it is de-escalatory in nature, it is not a military target at all, civilians were not harmed. They decided to go to the next level, and they are continuing to do these kind of probe missions and substantial numbers. Look at the numbers, and therefore, because, let me also clarify, since you mentioned some surface-to-air weapons and missiles, for these drones, none of those missiles are either being used or opening up to give away their signature stroke location. But even on the second night and subsequently, there were some targets in the Pakistani space for which S-400 kind of systems or MRSAP kind of systems and Akash kind of systems did open up. And they did fire, and I think some of the targets would have certainly got hit and achieved. Details will follow through later. So we are very calibrated and calculated in our approach. Our AD network is
Just hold on for half a second. We've got some more news coming in from our correspondent Ghazali. Ghazali, go ahead with what you're hearing and what you're seeing. Any details that you can share?
See, we are hearing the sounds of explosion, Vishnu, here. It appears as if this is counter response from the Indian Army here, but we are continuously hearing sounds of explosion. And we are on the rooftop of the place where we're staying right now. There is complete blackout, but the sounds of explosion are coming after every few minutes. We can't show you with the light, at least if you can see. We are right near a hilltop, and behind this, the sounds of explosions are coming. Everybody has been asked to stay indoors. There is no movement on the street right now, but the sounds of explosions are coming every 5 to 6 minutes is what we have observed in the last couple of minutes from here.
Hold on for a second. We've got some reactions coming in from Firozpur as well. Some police officers speaking. Let's listen in.
ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕਿ ਧਮਾਕੇ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਸੁਣੀ ਹੈ ਧਮਾਕੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਲੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਡਰੋਨ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਜੋਰਿਟੀ ਡਰੋਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਰਮੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਨਿਊਟਰਲਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੁਝ ਆਹ ਜਿਵੇਂ 21 ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਇਆ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਟੀਮਸ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਲਾਂਗੇ ਜੇ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਹੋਊਗਾ
ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਦੀ ਨਕਾਮੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ 4 ਤੋਂ 5 ਫਾਇਰ ਹੋਏ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਬਲੈਕਆਊਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਲਾਈਟਾਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ
ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਮੀਡੀਏਟਲੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਦੀ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਹੀ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ
Coming in, and let's just cut across to some breaking news. Drones have been engaged near Srinagar airport and an explosion has been heard. This is very, very important. Srinagar, a very important airbase for the Indian Armed Forces. Jammu as well. We've seen these attacks taking place in Jammu. We are now being told by our correspondent that there has been a drone which has been engaged, or some drones which have been engaged near Srinagar airport. Explosions have been heard. Air defenses would be engaged. We do not know about the state of interceptions. It's dark at night. We may not be able to find out at all till the morning. But these usually go on for several hours before they start, sort of petering out or coming down. In many cases yesterday, Pakistan used Turkish drones. Pakistan and Turkey are close allies, and militarily Turkey is one of the nations that does arm Pakistan. So that's what we have, the latest news, in addition to all the areas that we have listed, and those are mentioned on your screens: Jaisalmer, parts of Jammu, now it's Srinagar as well, Pathankot,
even
Amritsar, Rajasthan, Firozpur,
Yes.
I think Firozpur
Punjab,
as well,
yes.
and Punjab. Deepti.
Oh yes, of course. And I want to see if we can actually go back to Air Chief Marshal Rakesh Kumar Bhadoria, who was very patiently waiting, to get a sense also on what possibly could this night entail, sir. Considering that there are continuous updates coming in, there is obviously no let up in how Pakistan behaves, and plausible deniability is what Pakistan works with. But how far do you think Pakistan could go this time, and how do you read and sense our response?
Firstly, what's happening now, I expect that from our side there will be appropriate balanced response in relation to what's happening from their side. So that is one, and probably we'll hear about it tomorrow. We would not get the full information today. So there would be a response that would be going on, or that would happen. But like I said, all indications are that they are not moving towards de-escalation, and they're looking for, to my mind, a face-saving kind of attack where they at least get through to some targets. At the moment, what they're finding is they send drones, they send some aircraft close by, they get targeted, or bigger AD systems come up, they have fired also. So they are now probably working out how best to do a kind of attack and create some damage which can be face-saving for them. And I'm sure that's what our planners and our defense services are working towards in order to see that that's tackled effectively. That will be most important.
Air Chief Marshal, it is, it's something for us to note that they are sticking to drone attacks at this stage. Other than yesterday, one or two attacks which may have taken place with armed drones of a higher, not caliber, but bigger size, which attacked Bhatinda airport and were either intercepted or made ineffective, they've struck largely to small drones. We don't even know if all of these drones have warheads, right? They could be out there for reconnaissance missions.
Yeah, majority of them for reconnaissance. They would have simple cameras. You are absolutely right. But some of them were certainly armed. There was a kind of figure that was given in some briefing about 70 odd armed. That's the assessment. I think that is looking a very accurate assessment. But this is just kind of shaping the battlefield for their plan that is yet to come. And I am repeating this because it doesn't make sense to continue to send this level of drones night after night. So they are trying to get hold of what to do next and how to create a damage, and the kind of integrated response they are seeing, and a robust response. They're sending drones, we are attacking their radar, and successfully so. They've sent drones and not achieved any damage. So we need to wait for the next step.
Okay.
Going by their behavior, I think they are planning the next step. They are not seeing the...
All right, Air Chief Marshal, I'm just interrupting you because we've got more updates on Srinagar coming in. Srinagar is where there have been attacks which have taken place. Nazir, what are you hearing?
Well, there have been this blackout, there was sirens, and now we are hearing the explosions near Srinagar airport, and there have been reports of some drone activity which have been engaged, drones. And as we see, there have been multiple drone intrusions, be it Jammu or in Srinagar, but reaching right near at Srinagar airport in itself as a challenging thing for the security agencies. But as we know since yesterday, our air defense, system is so robust. They have engaged them all and neutralized almost all the attacks have been which Pakistan tried to carry out across Jammu and Kashmir. So There's a lot of, anxiety and chaos among people in Srinagar as well as in Jammu. There was also reports from the Avantipura air base, which they had tried to target earlier. As we heard the government briefing today from Leh, also yesterday evening there was attempt at the Leh drone intrusion in Leh as well.
Near Srinagar Airport, Nazir, that's the key point that you're mentioning, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Are these explosions, so these are blasts?
Well, they would be explosions as a result of potentially drones being taken out.
It can be the air defense system which may be intercepting them, and blasts could be because of that. Because it is just our assessment. We are not giving any confirm nature of the blast. Only thing what we can say is there's drone activity which have reportedly been engaged. Air defense system is operational. The way they have been dealing with this situation since yesterday, as we have seen, they have successfully foiled all the attempts. And same is happening here. We have seen whether it's Avantipura Air Base or Srinagar, there have been attempts which have been foiled, and this time we are hearing there are explosions near airport as well. And this could be air defense system maybe neutralizing any sort of attack. We don't know. Except this hearing that they have been drone intrusion, they have been engaged. But it's not only limited there. Across valley, there is Jammu, Kashmir valley, there's blackout. So is in Jammu, then Samba, and all the border areas as heavy shelling is going on. Okay. For example, I've been in Kupara where this Machil, Karen sector, and Tangdar sector, heavy artillery shelling going on. So it's a very, very tough situation. But unless we get a formal official statement, which we normally get in Delhi every day in the evening, so we'll have to wait till then, till the time we get the bits of information from different official sources, what exactly is happening. So it is since this evening, there are heightened activities, security forces are on high alert, and this integrated air defense system is operational. Okay. It is working very effectively and filing every attempt.
All right, Nazir, for the moment, I'll let you go, but he gets us, Vishnu, very important information. It's not just Kupwara, Uri, Baramulla. I've also seen some kind of escalation there. We also do see Shiv there on our screens. Shiv, where about you at this point in time, and what is it that you can tell us?
Deepthi and Vishnu, we did, about 45 minutes ago, we did hear some, distant thuds which sounded like explosions. Nazir, our colleague here in Srinagar, now reports that these are, interceptions of drones that were taking place near the Srinagar airport, which is about 40 minutes from where I am right now in downtown Srinagar. We did hear those explosions, but we didn't want to speculate at that point of time because we are in a blackout situation here in Srinagar. We've been shifted inside. All lights are off where we're staying right now. So all precautions are being taken. But if this indeed has happened, then it comes after not only a blackout across the entire city of Srinagar, but also an air raid siren that sounded not very far from where we are about an hour and a half ago. So it probably was leading up to this for these anti-drone measures that appear to have activated near the Srinagar airport. Remember that Srinagar was on top of the list of 15 cities and towns that were on the drone strike sort of target list for Pakistan 2 days ago in the wake of Operation Sindoor. They tried it again yesterday and failed according to the Indian government. And this is the third wave of drone strike attempts by Pakistan. The nature of these drones, whether these were the same Turkish drones that were intercepted, whether these were drones that had warheads unlike the first two waves, is not clear just yet. But as our colleague Nazir is reporting, there were some drone interceptions near the Srinagar airport, and we will be continuing to report that through the night. It looks like it's going to be another long night tonight then.
All right, Air Chief Marshal Bhadauria, let me come back to you. Sir, given this escalation, given the fact that we are nowhere close to a diplomatic off-ramp at this stage, where does one potentially go in terms of the escalation matrix? What we are seeing is interesting in that Pakistan is restricting their activity to the level of drones. There are no fixed-wing aircraft that we are aware of which are potentially attacking us with cruise missiles. and they haven't moved. Ground forces, naval forces from both sides have not been used. In terms of the escalation matrix, what happens next?
No, I think one aspect must be clearly understood, that it is for the initiative to escalate has come from Pakistan. The de-escalation initiative has to come from Pakistan. So if they continue to do this activity and not move towards de-escalation, our response would continue. We are not going to stop and call for de-escalation from our side. They need to stop, think rationally, and walk back. So the moment that happens, the picture from our side has been made amply clear that we are not looking for full-fledged conflict. We are ready to de-escalate, but I think the ball is in Pakistan court to de-escalate. Quite clearly, their effort in the last 3 nights has been at a very low level. So it is not very escalatory, so to say. But in response, we have targeted some important targets on their AD network. So how long do they want to do, and what are they looking for? In my assessment, a face-saving attack, and let's see how that works. Important night, I think, today in terms of monitoring what they are going to do, either tonight or tomorrow. Let's wait and see.
Okay, that's an important point, sir, that you do make, and I want to take this liberty of asking you another quick question before we go back to Shiv. Now, in this scenario, considering that you also read this, like a lot of other people say, that there is so much pressure on Pakistan, you're looking at what's happening in Balochistan versus, a lot of that things against the army chief itself in Pakistan, and they really need a face saver right now for their domestic audience. But the point is that what they are doing is no joke. They are trying to target our civilians. India has made it very clear that we are not the aggressor, but in case you cross that threshold, we would be forced to respond.
Absolutely. I think they are continuing to make these serious mistakes. Targeting of civilians, targeting of religious places, targeting of Gurdwara has come out very clearly, attempt to target. So they are going about it in the wrong manner. And for us, it is very important to expose them to the world, which is being done very efficiently, very correctly. So as time progresses, if they continue to stay at this level, they will continue to get exposed. So they either have to take a stronger step, whatever they have in mind, and look for a face saver, and we need to respond, ensure that there's no damage, and thereafter respond adequately. So at some time, depending upon what is their game plan and what action they take to achieve a face saver, that is where actually the next step will pan out. And from our side, what I clearly see is the response will be very measured but very robust. Okay, and thereafter we would expect that he sees reason and de-escalates. Also, talking about pressure across the world, I think the world leaders need to ask Pakistan why are they not taking the initiative to de-escalate. No point talking to us. They are the ones who are escalating. We need to respond. We are not going to stop. And they are the ones who need to be spoken to, and the pressure should come onto them.
Sure.
Particularly the army leadership, the army chief.
Some news coming in, some sad news from Firozpur, where there have been injuries now as a result of a drone possibly hitting a residential area. I believe at least 3 people have been injured. They've been taken to hospital. We've got Shiv Arur up with us as well. Shiv, again, let's look at the larger picture for a moment, shall we? This is what, day 2 or day 3 of the most intense air activity that we've seen since the 1971 war. An entire massive front has come under Pakistani attack. That's what we are looking at right now. We keep using the word escalation, and it's clearly going up, right? They're not stopping at this stage, and India is obliged now to respond. We responded overnight last night, and it's almost certain that we would do that tonight as well.
Vishnu and Deepthi, the Firozpur news break that you've just brought to our viewers, as we get more details and as we get a corroboration of what's happening on the ground there, that would be the first, perhaps, injuries from the drone strikes that Pakistan has been conducting for the third day running. It started 2 days ago in the wake of Operation Sindoor. Yesterday was the big one, and today it started small, but it clearly isn't small at all. This is essentially the third wave of drones that Pakistan appears to be using. There seems to be one view, and Vishnu, you know about this too, that Pakistan may be employing the tactic of using drones to try and soak up as much air defense energy from India, deplete India's air defense weaponry and stocks, and then follow it up with a heavy aircraft strike. This is what many credible analysts are saying, but obviously the Indian Air Force and the Indian anti-drone and air defense system knows what it's doing, and I'm sure they've war-gamed for that as well. So those intercepts that we heard a short while ago may have very well been that. So Srinagar also in the epicenter of what is unfolding to be day 3 of these drone strikes. And I agree with you, Vishnu, when you say that this is an escalation right back. India announced today that they had deployed drones in retaliation to the last drone strike attempt by Pakistan, and India officially said at today's press conference that one radar facility had been destroyed in Pakistan, essentially putting the ball back into Pakistan's court as far as the retaliatory response is concerned. And I think that is what is playing out right now, except that there is reason to believe that these drones may be different tactics may be employed in this particular drone strike attempt. What you've just said about Firozpur makes it seem like at least one of those drones or a few of those drones may be hitting targets and harming civilians. This is going to escalate things all over again. After a calm day, it's been a violent evening, starting with daytime ceasefire violations in 3 sectors, including Uri, where I've just returned from, and now these drones attempting to strike in different population centers of the country.
Oh, yes.
Well, the footage that we have, on our screens, Deepthi, is from Firozpur. There are injuries over here. There is a family which has been hurt. The police have responded to this. They have been giving us, have sort of come in with reactions, which we'll play out again. But this footage is very unfortunate. There's a fire being put out now as a result of a drone strike in what appears to be a populated area. So if we talk about, what Pakistan is doing now, hitting at populated centers, right? That's just ridiculous. It's very, very unfortunate. And that's not where, or that's never been the goal thus far of what we've seen in the last few days. Deepthi?
Oh, yes. And Shiv will vouch for this. When they attacked the civilians, when they attacked our tourists, there is an unwritten rule. You do not attack them. But Pakistan clearly does not follow any rules. And Shiv, there's just another update that Gurpreet has been able to share with us. He's in fact spoken to the team of doctors treating these people, 3 of them who've been injured. Now, the doctor says that the condition of one of the women is said to be critical. She suffered severe burns. The other 2 have lesser burns. And right now, they are recuperating in a local hospital. But Shiv, this really then changes the scale of the attack. This reinforces the fact that this is a Pakistan not willing to back down. And this also tells us it will not pull back from even attacking residential areas and civilians.
This is what in military jargon is called casus belli, which is Latin for a reason to declare war. A drone swarm attacking a population center, inflicting injuries on civilians, when we must remind ourselves the entire trigger for this cycle of violence has been, the butchery of innocent tourists by Pakistan-sponsored terrorists in Pahalgam 15 days ago. And you have, all the entire atmosphere ready for a war-like situation. Vishnu and I have been hesitant to use the word war, but I think we can all agree that this is a war-like situation that Pakistan is inviting upon itself. 3 opportunities for de-escalation have been, passed up, and Pakistan, instead of accepting that it doesn't have the stomach to absorb any more strikes of this kind, has indulged in another wave of strike on population centers, places where there are, large numbers of Indian citizens, sends out the kind of message that Pakistan is being extremely reckless about this. It is not being, tactical at all. It is ignoring opportunities to de-escalate. It is sending drones into Srinagar, where I'm reporting from, and we'll try and get some images from Srinagar in just a moment from now when we're allowed to actually go out. It's still a blackout here in the city. India is going to retaliate right back. We know this. That's how this has worked for the last 72 hours since Operation Sindoor began. Tonight will be the third night since those punitive strikes against terrorist targets, and it's playing out very similarly to last night, except that we now have the hindsight of what happened last night with India retaliating and destroying a radar facility in Pakistan. Is India going to up the ante, raise the level of this retaliation? One will have to wait and see, because clearly just a normal equidistant response with restraint, non-escalatory, doesn't teach a terrorist state any lessons.
What we can also mention is that, and let's talk a little bit about the drones themselves. These are largely Turkish drones. There would certainly be Chinese drones over there. Drones are of all sizes and shapes and different capabilities. Some are suicide drones, some have a two-way data link, some are GPS enabled, some are not. Some are, on one-way missions as they were. Some are much larger and can be armed with missiles. There was an attack on Bhatinda last night, Bhatinda, a military facility over there, where a drone was used, which was then eliminated. Eliminated or made ineffective because we've been using jammers in addition to kinetic means. Shiv, would you like to reflect on this, that when we talk about drone warfare, some of these may not even have warheads per se. They're obviously testing out our defenses one way or the other.
Reasonable to assume that the first wave of those drones, maybe even the second, were about, creating a map of India's air defense reactions, generating a kind of rhythm pattern of where our intercepts actually take place from, mapping where our air defense assets really are, what those layers actually look like. Remember, drones are a fairly cheap aircraft. They are dispensable. They are very low cost, so they don't, losing them in large numbers doesn't really harm a military in a very big way. That's not to say that it is an ideal situation, but the theory that Pakistan may be using drones in order to create a sort of battlefield picture of India's air defense is not beyond the realm of imagination. I'm sure the Indian Air Force, the Indian Army, the Indian Navy are fully aware of that kind of stratagem, which any military using drone warfare in this paradigm of warfare would possibly use to try and saturate the enemy, deplete their resources, exhaust their targeting energy, etc., etc. In this particular case, if that is what Pakistan is trying to do, an educated guess from me would be that they're biting off much more than they can chew, because Pakistan has way more depleted resources, for wartime means than India does at this point of time. And that is not chest thumping, that is simply a reality. We all know that Pakistan has been exporting weaponry and ammunition to Ukraine to build up its foreign reserves, and this particular confrontation with India is going to exhaust Pakistan much more than it exhausts India, and at a much more rapid rate, even if you account for China and Turkey and other countries, having these healthy pipelines of supply into Pakistan.
Just hold on for a second, because we've got Gurpreet Chinna now joining Pakistan us from one of the hospitals in Firozpur. Gurpreet, go ahead. What are you learning?
Well, we have seen that at about 8:30 p.m. There was one family that lives in the village Khai Ke Fema. They suddenly saw something engulfed with fire that had been dropped from the sky toward their house, and immediately that house has also caught fire there in Firozpur. And what we have learned during the preliminary investigation, even the police say it seems that drone carrying bomb, it seems that drone had thrown that bomb at that house. And what what we have learned, the three people, family members, they have got injured. We are in the hospital where we have seen the family members, they are getting treatment, and we have seen the force has also been here. They are also investigating the matter thoroughly to find out what was the detail. We have seen at about 8 p.m. there was information with the local police or local administration that some drone movement had been seen from across the border. Immediately they had imposed the blackout, and this incident which we are reporting at this point of time from one of the hospital, what we have learned at about 8:30, the family members, the villagers, they say they saw some fire there at the house, and immediately when went there, that fire had caught to the car also. In that car, when the family members, they were trying to save the car, that fire had also engulfed all the family members, and finally they got critical injured. Now they are getting the treatment from this hospital, and we have also tried to record a lot of moments from the sky when we have seen then flashing lights were going on. So somewhere down the lane it seems they are the victims of those bombs which has been thrown through the help of drones, and it seems a clear-cut attack on the civilians in Firozpur. So as of now we have seen the police is already conducting patrolling to guiding the people, and multiple sirens had been used by the local administration so that the people of this border area Firozpur, they should be aware. So we have to wait and watch what type of investigation will be taken place in this case. But as of now, what we have learned, three family members that they have got serious burn injuries because of this incident which has been taken place in district Firozpur in village Khai Fema. So as of now, the initial investigation is already underway. The local police is also conducting the investigation. They are trying to track that drone or that explosive which has been thrown from long distance. So all these parts are being investigated by the local police. Back to studio.
I think what he's telling us is pretty important, and if you just juxtapose that with the images that we are watching on our screen, so you will see that car, I think, that was up in flames, and the extent of the damage, the severity is also clearly visible, and this is, like you and Shiv have been discussing, an escalation to another level. I want to take
can
this
I just
moment?
hold your thought for half a second? And this is very frightening because I've just got an update which has come in now. On Flight Radar 24, there are two Karachi to Lahore flights, and the screenshot is from 10:10. That's about 20 minutes back, flying very close to the border. So you've got civilian aircraft flying in Pakistani airspace at a time when they're pushing in drones. Now, this is exactly what India had spoken about today.
In the press conference.
That civilian aircraft are being used as shields. And why is this happening? It is possibly taking place because it disrupts or potentially disrupts Indian Air Force activities over there, because you have to be alert to the presence of civilian airliners. But think about the passengers on those planes. They are flying and they've been cleared to fly at a time of intense air activity. What if one of those planes is shot down? Because it is absolutely crazy. I've never seen something like this. In fact, let's get a quick reaction on that first. Captain Meera Siddharth Dave with us, Major General Yash More and General Anil Kumar Bhatt. Major General More, just on the point of how airspace in Pakistan remains open now, civilian airliners flying from Lahore is just across the border. What does that indicate to you?
I know this is, we heard in the official press conference or press briefing also today that they're trying this method of deception, and behind this using a drone swarm to confuse our air defense systems. And I think that day is not far. If they do this, then probably an airliner will be down, because the warning has been given today. And after warning, if they continue to do this, then they should be ready for the next round of escalation. This cannot go on. This kind of, this is what the dirty tricks department of Pakistan is famous for. Nothing much to show as far as op strategy is concerned, but try and do little tricks here and there.
When he's making this point, I want Vishnu to talk about this. What does this mean? And we are trying to zoom in there to Lahore, where
you've got a plane over there on the screen, and this is right now. So can we just zoom in, please, on the plane on the left-hand side? That's Lahore. Zoom in on the plane. That's right. And click on it. What does it say? Can our director...
20, I think so.
So that's a flight number, SIF 732. I'll figure out which airline that is. But that's just taken off, I think, from Lahore a little while back. And it appears to be an airliner, a twin-engine A320, I think, is what it looks like. We'll get details of that flight in just a moment, but it is Lahore to Muscat. There are international flights taking off from Lahore at a time when there are drones being pushed in by Pakistan.
So Vishnu, what does this mean? In simple terms, for people who are watching this, why is this the classic case of Pakistani deception, Vishnu?
Not just deception, they're using human beings as shields. There are human beings on board this aircraft who are being used as shields. Why? Because this is a very dense defended airspace. There would be fighter planes on both sides of the international border. There are surface-to-air missile regiments on both sides of the border. India is intercepting drones which have breached our airspace, and there is yet another aircraft in the skies. Now, our systems are designed through various sensors to actually detect civilian aircraft who are squawking a particular code through their transponders, which identify them as civilian airliners. But why do you want to expose a civilian airliner with hundreds on board to a situation where you've got an Indian air defense controller potentially thinking, is this a military target or is this a civilian target?
Yes.
It just and what about the airlines themselves? Shouldn't they be held accountable? How are you operating an international flight from an area which is just kilometers away from a short distance away from the international border? It just belies belief. Captain Meera Siddharth Dave, on this one point that we're talking about now, how would you respond?
Yes, Vishnu, I mean, this is the best we know what Pakistan is, and this is always it has been, whether it is a 1971 war wherein it was not ready to take its soldiers back, or when we know in 1999 what was the situation when their dead soldiers they were not ready to accept, or coming back to the recent situation when their own people which were given the visas, they were not ready to take them back through Atari border in their Wagah border. Coming to this current situation, there's nothing new we know about it. Yes, this is Pakistan using human as shield. Now, when you were showing in the recent footages of Firozpur and Punjab, what we just saw, the airstrikes, we recently have heard, as per the recent report, which also I have received, that near Srinagar airport, there were certain blasts which had happened, and I'm sure it's our air defense system which is interfering and it is eliminating the Pakistan attack. But see, we need to understand this. Pakistan, what it is trying to do currently, wherein this is the third swarm drone attack, I would relate it to a loser gambler plays twice the risk. So Pakistan currently has nothing to lose, I would say. So it is trying every trick up the sleeve.
Captain, hold on for half a second. I've got a little more detail on this flight. It's an Air Sial flight. The scheduled time of departure was 10:05 p.m. The actual time of departure was 10:03 p.m. It's an Airbus A320 aircraft. General Moore, your thoughts on this? I mean, they're using passengers as shields.
And I'm surprised that when our airport is closed,
24 Indian airports are closed.
Yeah, yes. And a lot of international airlines are not flying into Pakistani airspace because this is a conflict zone. So many international airlines have stopped flying because nobody takes risks with passengers like this. And previously we have seen couple of incidents where aircrafts have been brought down. So I'm really surprised how it is happening. So we need to issue a proper warning. The DGCA and the whatever international organization that handles private aviation must be brought in. Like we do sea denial, we should say denial of the airspace now. And any aircraft flying at this time, and if drones come in, then please do not hold India responsible, because we warned you before this. So this is really surprising. But we must call the Pakistani bluff as soon as possible. We should not be too reactionary in this entire thing.
And General Yash and Vishnu, another thing that baffles me when you watch this story as a common man is the fact just this evening you've had India making it absolutely clear that this is the classic tactic being used by Pakistan. Where today are those world powers who believe that they hold sway over a lot of things? I mean, where are they? I mean, are they
America
willing? Yes,
be doing a lot more?
Absolutely. I mean, isn't there more that should appeal to the entire world there? General Yashmore, when they're watching these images, India today has made this very, very clear. We've unequivocally said that this is the Pakistani art of deception, where they are using human beings as shields, but no response.
I think we should stop, looking at, because we have seen even J.D. Vance's statement, we are hands off and we have nothing to do, even what Trump has been saying about this. I think it is high time we take charge of our own destiny, our operations. We went in for proactive strategy this time. We have shifted the entire paradigm of how we deal with terrorism on the night of 7th and 8th. What are we waiting for? If you have hit hard, we must now move into the second phase of hit harder. Because otherwise, this kind of a reactionary mode that we are coming, that Pakistan is coming with drone swarms all over Indian territory, we are defending, we are firing our air.
They're testing our resolve, is what you're trying to say.
It makes me feel little, if we have been proactive now, the initiative must remain with us. And let's not pass the initiative to the enemy.
All right, just 1 second, General Moore. We need to take a short break. I should also mention, just 15 minutes ago, Deepthi, there was an Air Blue flight from Karachi to Lahore which landed. 15 minutes back it landed. Not only takeoffs and moving away, but actually flying into that airspace. We're going to take a short break, come back with the very latest.
Welcome back. So, Vishnu, with Pakistan, the more things change, the more they remain the same, is exactly how that story has moved. Today is the second straight night. We are looking at, again, Pakistan back to its cheap tactics, if we could say that. There are drones that are, again, being intercepted by our forces. But unfortunately, what's happened in Firozpur, Vishnu, could be seen as an escalation. And I'm sure India is going to retaliate.
In fact, let's have that footage of Firozpur, please. As we report once again, all of these air intrusions and attacks by Pakistan. There has been one very unfortunate incident which we can report in Firozpur, where there is a family, I think it's 3 people of a family, burn injuries as a result of a drone apparently hitting their home. There is a fire in the area. We'll show you video of that fire. We've had our correspondent at the hospital who confirms that this family has been injured. They've been brought to that hospital. You can see cars ablaze. You can see that situation as a result of a drone strike going down. Was this a deliberate strike? Was this a drone which went awry? What exactly is this all about? We don't know. But this in a civilian area is an escalation. We've been seeing Pakistan not back off at all. India in a press conference today said that they shouldn't, for example, be using their airspace at a time when they're pushing in air intrusions into India. Regular flights are continuing from Lahore, which is just across the border. This basically means that people on board planes are, virtually hostages to what might take place. And that's a cause of concern. It would confuse our military planners as well, that they have to watch out and be careful for, civilian aircraft at a time when there is intense military activity, the air forces and air defense regiments of either side. This could all go terribly wrong. Many people could lose their lives this way. Deepthi.
Yes, and we are looking at all important meetings that have continued, whether it's during the day, the Prime Minister, the Raksha Mantri, the External Affairs Minister. So India, Vishnu, keeping its eyes focused on how far is Pakistan wanting to push this envelope. Because again and again, we must make it very clear, India is never the aggressor. But India reserves the right to retaliate. With this, I and Vishnu will sign off on this edition of the news with the promise that NDTV will continue to keep you on top of that story. Thank you for watching. Good night.